Oh, here's your Backstage pass.
Quiet on the set.
Action!
Welcome to Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by Chef Lisa Dahl. This is your inside look into culture, curators, and creative artists. And now, your host, Shondra.
Welcome, my VIPs. You've got your Backstage Pass, and you are in. Like always, on Saturdays at 10 a.m., get ready for more behind-the-scenes stories that you'd never know about unless you tuned in here at Sedona's Backstage Pass every Saturday at 10 on KAZM 106.5 FM and 780 AM, and, of course, streaming live on mellowmountainradio.com. Oh, gosh. Now, you know, if you miss a show, you probably already know this, but I'm going to tell you again. You can catch it on Spotify, Pandora Radio, Apple Podcasts, and others. Just look for it. Okay? For those of you who are residents, and for those of you who are not residents coming into Sedona, there's some fun stuff going on this week. First of all, the 32nd, did I just say this? The 32nd Sedona International Film Festival is happening, and it is starting a little bit earlier than normal because on Friday the 20th, okay, because really the film festival starts on Saturday, but Friday night at the Sedona Performing Arts Center, the Sedona International Film Festival is presenting John Rubinstein. I don't know if you remember him. He was in the original Pippin. He's done so much on TV and movies. He is coming in with his one-man show about Eisenhower. I'm going to be there. Tom and I are going to be there. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And also the next night, which is the opening of the Sedona International Film Festival, that's Saturday the 21st at 4 p.m., the composer Mark Shaman is going to be in. Mark wrote all the music to Hairspray and so many other musicals, and a really cool thing's happening. He had some wild idea about wanting a choir of kids to sing "You Can't Stop the Beat," that song that moves really, really, really fast, and it's in Hairspray. So guess who's coming? The big choir at Mingus Union High School. It is the performance choir. They're fantastic, and also Camp Verde's choir's coming. The kids are over the top. They know who Mark Shaman is. Believe me, they're thrilled. This guy is incredible. Look him up. Anyway, you can get a program. The Sedona International Film Festival starts actually officially on Saturday the 21st. It will run all the way through March 1st. And as you know, get a ticket to High School Detention, the musical. That's the movie musical that my creative partner, Dev Ross, and I took 6 years to make. And we did it. And you're going to know a lot of the people in this movie. So go to it. It's at 4 p.m. at Sedona Performing Arts Center on the 28th. That's the big premiere. Oh, I forgot to mention, the events calendar is always sponsored by Sedona Ballet. If you want to know more about them, visit sedonaballet.org. Gosh, I want to make sure I always mention that because they're fantastic. They do so much, and they're incredible supporters for all you dancers out there. So now, all right, let's go on and on here. I want to mention again a little bit about the film festival. You know, this is the Sedona International Film Festival is ranked as one of the top 25 film festivals in the world for filmmakers to enter their movies in. So I think this is a fantastic thing to know that is our film festival here in Sedona. And they have over 150 films, including features, shorts, documentaries, you name it. You can get your tickets, including single tickets now. As of yesterday, you can do this. Actually, I take it back. Since the 16th, just visit SedonaFilmFestival.com. All right, all the answers that you would ever need are there, including about the after parties, the after evening parties, which are amazing. Places like the Enchantment. Oh, I'm telling you, just a great festival, a 9-day festival, so much fun. Now, let's see. Over there at Mary Fisher, I'm going to do a little plug for Christy Fisher. Christy Fisher is going to be at Mary Fisher for the In the Living Room Music Series, the first Monday of March. I know I'm ahead of myself, but I just want to squeeze that in since we're talking about the Sedona International Film Festival theaters. That's on March 9th for the In the Living Room Music Series at 7 p.m., so mark your calendars. Oh, righty. Then we have the Sedona Yoga Festival. And that's going to come up in March. That's a lot of fun. So make sure you take a look at that. That's going to happen March 12th through the 16th at Posse Grounds Park and also local studios. I know I'm kind of ahead of myself, but let me just say these are definitely events you want to get in on so that you make sure that you get your passes because they sell out quickly. All right. And there's others in March, but getting back to what's happening in February, while we are sitting here in February, Sedona International Film Festival, you guys, make sure you do it. Get in there, SedonaFilmFestival.com. You'll find out all the information, and programs are everywhere, so pick one up. You can see what's going on. Okay, well, I am so excited to have my guest here, my two guests, but my first guest is an amazing individual. We all love her. Here she is, and she is like the foodie deluxe, the queen of culinary. I say culinary. It is culinary, right? It's also in Britain. It's culinary. Just thought you'd like to know that. Culinary. All right. Chef Lisa Dahl, thank you for being here. This is so exciting.
I'm always excited. We get to talk about what makes life worth living, and we talk about so many fun subjects, but food is really the shtick, right?
Everybody is talking food these days. You know,
yeah.
I have to tell you that Tom and I, when we watch TV, it's just the Food Channel. I'm not kidding you. There's
I'm
just
not
a few
surprised.
different. I just love it. No, I mean seriously, really enjoy it. So now everybody's food crazy. Here we are in February. We're going to get ready for Valentine's. What's the difference? Tell me what the difference is between Christmas and Valentine's besides the obvious.
Well, and obviously also you got one little big fat holiday tucked in there right between in a 7-day period called New Year's Eve.
Right.
And each one of them is like a production in and of themselves. So when it comes to menu design and thinking about these and archiving events, you always have to put yourself in the headspace and the heart space of what people want at those times. So menu development is really, it sounds so fun, but I have to tell you that I do pull my hair out somewhat, because then it comes down to the brass tacks of availability of things, and there's disappointments, and you get the wrong version of what you ordered. The seafood comes in a different size, whatever. But this is what separates the men from the boys, as they usually say, and I'm still trying to figure out the perfect thing, the women from the goddesses. But you need to be nimble. So you create your menus for each holiday. As we know, Christmas, family, Hanukkah, family, you're going to see your larger groups. New Year's Eve, it's silver, it's gold, baby. It's like black dresses and yada yada and ribbons and balloons on the ceilings and music and chic jazz, etc. But the menu needs to be more centric towards couples. You know, you're not going to see as much New Year's Eve large parties.
Right.
So, like, for instance, with Dahl and Toluca, I'm now doing a lobster risotto. Now, that's the kind of dish on New Year's Eve and on Valentine's that you want to bring out, because it's like, I say, the best of the best, the creme de la creme, the dishes that have sensuality, correct? And then now when you get into... And the desserts change. So we don't talk enough about desserts, you and me. And one day we're going to have to really get into it. We might come into this segment. But when it comes to Valentine's, what starts running through my head is everything red.
Yes.
Red, red, red. And that might sound silly, but of course, maybe instead of it being a lobster saffron Milanese risotto, maybe it's going to be a frutti di mare with a cioppino-style sauce, red sauce. Maybe it's going to be a vodka sauce with a lobster tail on top. It's going to be not that everything is red, but Valentine's is about lovers. One little factoid you probably never knew.
Okay.
And it makes it so much fun to be a restaurateur. Imagine taking out all your 4 and 6 top tables and replacing them with 2 tops. For Valentine's.
Wow.
Think about the logistics that take place in that lovely little holiday that many people don't even think about.
See, and this is the thing. People don't realize what goes on. First of all, you're a restaurateur. You own 6 restaurants. You are running 6 restaurants, managing them. Yes, you have crews, but that's a thing into itself. But I'm talking about the fact that just this very thing that you're talking about. You take out all these big tables. I watched what happened after I finished over at Pizza Lisa. As I was tearing down, everything was coming back in. And I mean, everyone, this is a major job, a major, major job of changing basically furniture and ambiance. And so here you are.
Everything.
Right.
It's show business.
Yes, it is show business. And the ambiance makes the food it just enhances everything, the whole experience. And you're great at this. Your ambiance on all your restaurants are fantastic. So it's not like, I just own restaurants. You also are in there. Now, let's talk about this. The kitchen. Let's talk about it. People want to get in the food business. I'm going to have a restaurant, and all that stuff. But you're living some heavy duty stress here. You've got people working for you. Yes. And I'm going to learn with you who are listening, what's the difference between a sous chef, a head chef, is it a line chef? Is
Correct.
there such a thing?
The line chefs, in my opinion, can be line chefs or they can be line cooks. And it's a very important differentiation because if you're just a line cook, you're like half in, half out. If you want to be a line chef, then you're really like a capitano of a team. And so a head chef is the choreographer to the line, coordinating the line, each line. If we wanted to break it apart, and I could talk to you just about Dahl and DeLuca line and what makes it different from Cucina. D&D, as many people know it, is the teeniest little kitchen that we have in our restaurants. Why? Because it was a sonic burger. And sometimes less is more. You have a teeny little line. That means you have less people. And you know what I say over and over? The best nights you ever have is when you have less people on the line. You go into a larger restaurant, I'm not going to name one, and you have too many people on the line, they're all over each other.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of chaos, and it needs to be coordinated by the lead chef, the head chef, and that could be the lead line person, which is a very important position, but they must know each station. The head chef is doing many things. They're ordering, they're scheduling, they're doing a lot of those things. Then you also have something called a kitchen manager in a larger restaurant. And I have a kitchen manager, and sometimes a kitchen manager chef is equally important to a head chef. But there's also a difference. There's also a position called sous chef. And then there's executive chef.
Oh, gosh, there's all these different
something
positions.
that I want you to know, and I want anyone that's interested in the hierarchy. Not every restaurant has the brigade. There's a different thing depending on the size and the team in each restaurant. There's always needs to be a leader. And if you don't have leadership qualities, no one's going to respect you.
So the leadership qualities are on all of these that you're mentioning.
On all positions.
So may I just say that in my business, that would be like putting a band together.
Correct.
You
It's a
have to
band
have-
leader.
Exactly. And so who is essentially the band leader? The executive chef?
You're looking at
the
her.
Okay.
No, I am the, and
This
I'm going to
is-
say this, and this is not a boastful thing. I will never give up my title as executive chef. And the
okay.
reason is...
But yes, because you know it's yours, and you want to make sure the quality is the best.
It certainly is. But it's also because in our 6 restaurants, every recipe that we serve are my recipes. And I want the recipes to be done correctly. I have to build trust with each individual in each restaurant, in each domain. It's different in a pizzeria. You have a lead pizziola. Each restaurant has a different hierarchy. Some, based on their size, have less people. You have grill masters. You have the most important, and to me, on a line, the most difficult is the pantry. And my restaurants are all known for heavy starters, but that falls in the domain of salad and pantry. And depending on the layout of a kitchen, that can be different. But in many restaurants, especially, you look at the teeniest kitchen of D&D with less equipment. And at some point in the near future, we'll talk about what we're going to do when we start to remodel our kitchen there. Ooh. That's a whole story, and we'll make a segment about it. But we've worked in tiny, like you would imagine if you go into a Manhattan Italian restaurant from the 1930s or 40s. We have less people and better specialized. They have less space. So you imagine making, I always have 4 to 5 salads, which is ludicrous in any restaurant. And they have to do that in the tiny space with very little of equipment to have all that they need for design, for a presentation. Then they have to turn around, go to the fryer, pull the arancinis or the calamari fritti out, grill the bread on the little grill behind them. I salute, I kiss on the cheek every time I walk in to my chef in that position that puts their heart and soul into that area, because no matter what, it is the hardest plating station. Now, when you do what I did for over 20 years, 10 years, excuse me, a bit more, when I was the sous chef at Dahl and DeLuca, and many people know that my ex-partner's name is still on all the signs as a respect to him.
Yes, yes.
And this is something we don't talk about. It was many, many years that we worked as a team with our teams. When it was time for me and him to go our ways for more reasons than we can imagine, but with due respect, Andrea's name is still respected on our sign, on our logo, but he has not been in the kitchen for many, many years. I had a little sign on my chef coat, sous chef, and it was made very clear that I was not the head chef. And it was something that taught me more than you can imagine, because the sous chef, in our case, is making the sauce, making the foundations, making marinara, making bolognese, making the vegetables, making the rice, making the vinaigrettes, making the creamy dressings, making everything that the line chefs are going to utilize.
Right.
Soups in their own can take a day on a soup and a sauce, along with all the other things that we're providing. So I have a sous chef in each restaurant.
So I'm like blown away. I'm blown away by this. First of all, I want to ask you, when did that separation happen?
I cannot remember the year because I still have PTSD. I could ask my CFO, David.
I can imagine.
It is a big thing. It was a very big thing. As a matter of fact, as I said right in the film, it was a heavy load, a big payoff to do what I did, but the cost of freedom is worth that, and I still pay that loan. That loan is not paid off. We've been in business 30 years. It was about 12 years into it that we went our ways, because Cucina was just born, and I hold no resentments. I just saying this because it would be hard for me to not keep the legacy of what made us who we are.
No, I think it's great. And I think it's a story people love. I have to say, we have a lot of respect for you. I want to say this on the air. It is not easy being a woman and being a businesswoman. In my business that I do, in the entertainment business, women are not, well, there are more techies now as women, but it's rare, still rare. I'm a techie. I arrange. I do all kinds of things. In the restaurateur business, no, you do not see female chefs.
Not at the level of...
Not at what you're doing. And it's hard. It's difficult. And people want to, point fingers or say things or whatever. Let me just say, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. And I know it may sound really feminist and all that. It's not. It's just the way it is. Well, and so I really respect what you do.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
These interviews that we do, they sometimes do bring tears to my eyes, because you allow me to just, in a very organic way, all of a sudden there's the memories. It's coming up. This is not rehearsed. We're doing this ad hoc, as they say. And so what comes up is sometimes really things that I have pushed down. But I want to say this very quickly in terms of what you say. Yes, women chefs have always been in the background, and yes, we are now coming to the foreground. But if you go back in time to when all this was taking place, we never hardly heard. There's Alice Waters. There's several of us that were chefs and restaurateurs out there. but it was a 98% male to 2% women. Now, in the earlier days, just picture this, because I'm not a martyr, but I'm in the back at D&D in the kitchen, in the hearth of the kitchen. I got a big old, huge, gigantic spoon. I'm making marinara. I'm making sauce. I'm getting things ready. I'm running to the one phone, and we had cell phones, but all reservations are on the wall phone hanging, and of course out of the front, but you're not going to run out of the kitchen to the front unless you have to. So deliveries are coming in. I'm making stuff here. There's nobody else in the kitchen. I'm answering a phone to take reservations. Oh, yes, we'd love to have you. And there'll be 4. And it's like, every reservation is golden. I'm writing it down. I'm running to the front to put it in the proper book. There was no open table. There was no 7 rooms, no reservation systems. Then I'm running back. I'm doing that. Then I go home and I put on something nice. I'm no longer covered in sauce and in a chef coat. I run home. I come back. Now I'm a hostess at the front. As people are walking out, they're saying goodbye to us both, but they're saying, good night. Thank you, chef, to my partner. Good night, chef. Or, oh my God. And I'm the sous chef, self-taught, and I'm making the foundations that the line cooks and the orchestration are using in the seafood pasta, in the veal, Parmesan, et cetera, et cetera. But everybody, I'm invisible. They know me as a hostess, but I'm invisible. But let me tell you this.
Right.
I would sometimes cry in that nobody knew I was cooking, but cooking was my soul to salvation after the loss of Justin. So when I wrote The Elixir of Life, it was the first time that I had an identity. I heard my father, in this case it was my father who had passed away, he said subliminally, now it's time to write your story. So I wrote my story and put the recipes that I felt I could put in without someone saying, oh, this is proprietary. So all the sauces, all the veggies, all the things that I had made for years and years, I put in and did the photography. Had the photography done with this world famous Janice Witt, who's amazing.
She's fabulous.
But I took her to Italy with me, and Carol Harrelson edited. It was 3 women creating this fabled cookbook, The Elixir of Life, which was actually my elixir of life to keep going, because when we split up in business, many people had said we would fail.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, and so I used to cry thinking, will we be able to keep the business together? And I had Chef Ray and I had my line guys, and they stayed with me. And this is why the symbology of the elixir of life, it had to be manifest for me to feel I had some tangible proof that I had cooked and made all these foundations, and they still live in every single restaurant to this day, because the marinara, that's what we call the mother sauce. It's not my mother's recipe. She was a good cook. But it's the mother sauce foundation.
Yeah, right.
So a sous chef many times is creating the foundations that make the world go round of everything. So you love your meatballs, but you love the sauce that makes the meatballs. But yet a sous chef is many times in my small kitchens making the meat recipe for our polpette, and they're shaping them. And if we're lucky, they have an assistant that's helping to ball them. And we measure we put every single 1 ounce meatball that we make in 4 restaurants on a little baby scale, but they're tenderly padded with love. Each meatball, I'm almost crying thinking of the love that goes in, that people live through me, wanting to please me through their love of cooking and sharing that generationally. That's what the movie was about. That's what this is all about.
Well, I want you to know the movie.
Sorry that I'm tearing up.
No. Blessed by Grace. If you've not seen this film, I've talked about it. We've talked about it several times. It is an experience, you need to see it. And it will give you the real understanding of what is motivating Chef Lisa Dahl to do what she does. I'm going to tell you, thank you for sharing this, not only with me, but everyone, because I did not know that. And I always say, and I have said this many times to friends, I go like, Chef Lisa Dahl is, you're an anomaly. You're somebody, I just go like, you are doing the juggling act of all jugglers, and it's in a business where we don't see women. I know on the Food Channel, we see women now. There was just one chef that just passed away,
it's
unfortunately.
so sad because when I think of her, Ann Richardson.
Wonderful.
And when I think, and we still have never been told why.
Yeah.
We've never been told why.
It's so wrong,
And let
yeah.
me tell you something that I want people to think about. Because everyone thinks that this is glamour work, and they think that they know or they could judge what goes on. And let me tell you something. I met a chef a number of years ago who had a terrible bout with cancer. A terrible bout with cancer. And when it was it was throat and went into the lungs, and he is alive. I'm praying that he's still surviving. But the exhaust and the fumes and the grill and the things that go on that are part of being in a small confined kitchen that we do day after day after day, you have to know it's a commitment you make because you love people and you love to make people happy. But, when I think about that, and I think about pizza and what being around the flames and all that, it's a conscious thing that it's much more than just, we're chefs. And, there's good and bad, in my opinion, to what Food Network and the food channels have done because they have glamorized. And I would talk about that another time, and I don't want to be controversial. But I have to tell you, that phrase that says, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, in 30 years, and with over 300 people that are working for us, it's those that love and have the passion and dedication to hospitality, to making other people happy through. And sometimes people are not happy when they're coming in, and our food must speak. If it doesn't speak, we're not living up to our mantra. When you cook with love, you feed the soul.
Yes, and happy Valentine's Day. Because with that, we're talking about love, and I want everybody to make the reservations, especially at Dahl and DeLuca. It's going to be gorgeous.
And Cucina and at Mariposa, each have their own, but let's face it, Italian restaurants have a little more intimacy. And there's always lunch. There's always all kind of things. You can have a romantic lunch for Valentine's.
Yes,
Pizza,
you can.
Baby.
I'm making a heart right now. I'm doodling on my notes. Okay, Chef Lisa Dahl, thank you for being here.
I'm sorry that you brought me to tears.
No, I'm not sorry. I think it's wonderful. We want to know the heart of you, and I want to help share that. You all stay with me, and Chef Lisa Dahl, thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the month of March. Stay with me, everyone.
You can taste it in every bite. For over 30 years, Chef Lisa Dahl has redefined what it means to dine in Sedona, serving soulful, handcrafted cuisine inspired by love, artistry, and community. From the wood-fired kitchens of Mariposa to the couture flair of Butterfly Burger, every experience is elevated, every ingredient intentional. To learn more about Lisa Dahl and the Dahl restaurants, please visit cheflisadahl.com.
Need a clean car fast? Come to Cleaner, Quicker Car Wash. We'll have you sparkling and back on the road in minutes. Whether you're after a quick shine or a deep clean, you'll get top quality service, eco-friendly soaps, and smiles all around. Drive up, shine up, and feel good, all without slowing down your day, and look like a star in your car. Located in West Sedona on Highway 89A. For more information, visit cleanerquickercarwash.com.
Here's more of Backstage Pass with Shondra, brought to you by Chef Lisa Dahl.
Oh, my next two guests are amazing. You probably don't really know them. They're behind the scenes all the time. Of course, you probably have met at least one of them when you needed something for your event or your party. Verve Events Tents, I'm going to introduce you to, and thank you so much for being here, Phil and Kyrsta Gornik. It's so wonderful to hello here.
Hello.
I got you out of the big, large warehouse cave.
Well, we're happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
I have to tell you, that place. So I take a tour, everybody. I take a tour. I go to meet Kyrsta, and I'm like, sure, I'll go on the tour. And my mouth is dropping open because I've never seen so much stuff in my life. And there are tents hanging because they're being dried from being cleaned. And I'm thinking, I don't know this. Like, how do tents get cleaned? There you go, right in front of me.
Arizona is a very dusty place to have white tents out up in the air.
I guess, Phil.
It takes 2 days for it to get,
Are you
sure, easily.
So
nice red dirt.
Do you have to do this every time you get that back?
Every time we get a tent back, we do spray it off and get the dust off. Yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes we'll take a floor machine and scrub it.
Wow. Yeah, and so I was standing there, and I'm like, oh, my God, gigantic tents. I've actually been parts of events where I actually helped when we were renting that stuff. I didn't put them up. I'm not saying I put them up, no. But I remember seeing them go up or being there and being part of the team to rent those. And a massive, massive stuff. And then you have all this furniture. Here, there's like a whole list. I'm gonna tell you, everybody. We're just talking about, everything. Renting furniture, couches, side tables, all that good stuff. And then there's a whole nother part of your company, isn't it?
We are a rental family. We have been renting. Now it's 2 stores. So there is the party store that has everything from the big tents to the tables and chairs and dishes, linens, forks and knives, everything you need for a party or special event. And then there's a separate store that is all tools and construction, from tractors and trenchers and tillers, backhoes, lifts, all kinds of stuff.
Amazing. Have you ever had anything get lost? She's laughing.
All the time.
Yeah,
So, do you ever have whoops, we forgot to bring the forklift back? Mm-hmm. Really? Has it happened?
Well, the forklift we might notice.
That's going to be a little bit noticed. Yeah, it's napkins end up in people's pockets. Forks and spoons get thrown away.
Oh wow!
And sometimes, how did we lose a stack of chairs just.
We're at a lot of resorts. So they move things around. And you have to go back a couple of times to find all the pieces and parts.
So let's say on a regular week, through the weekend, how many deliveries would be like a really intense week?
Well, it's interesting you asked that. We were running some numbers before coming here, and we are hugely seasonal. So October is probably our busiest month.
Sure.
And we think in October we had about 450 events.
In 1 week?
Oh, no, that's in October.
Okay, so that's the whole month.
The month of October.
But if you divide that into 4,
that's,
October is definitely our busiest month of the year.
That's crazy.
It's this fall season seems to be very, very short. It's September, October, actually mid-September into mid-October is really the high part of the season where it's wedding season and festival season.
Yes.
And we're not just in the Verve Valley, but we also go to Prescott and to Flagstaff and all around. So, in the spring ramps up. We're warmer here and it's colder in Flag. And then when the Verve Valley gets warm, the events start picking up in Flagstaff and Prescott. But in the fall, all 3 areas are at full tilt. And that is really something.
So different than the spring, because it's very, very intense here in the spring.
It is very intense here in the spring, but I think it's more of a gradual grow where it's not like a switch, like it really just turns on.
Oh, okay.
The fall is like
it is like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's amazing.
The art festival,
wine festivals,
everything.
Yeah, that one in Cottonwood now because it's all condensed in. Was that one in April? Well, that one was in April.
We actually do all of them. So we do the wine and pecan in Camp Birdie.
Oh my gosh.
The Sedona Wine Festival, which is no longer, but then the Verve Valley Wine Festival. Mm-hmm. We do the beer festivals in Flagstaff. I forget what Prescott's is, but we do a a fun festival that's a
it's the
wine
4th of
festival.
July. That would be
July.
the 4th of July fest at
Okay.
Watson Lake.
Watson Lake. Yeah.
So Al Camello
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
partnered up to
Love
do
Al.
the Sedona Community Fair, which you supplied all the tents for that. That was massive. That was 3 years. And then we formed the Sedona Wine Fest together with Sandy Moriarty because there was a wine tent. Do you remember? You
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
remember that?
We
The
remember.
wine tent in the fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And do you remember the very first one when it got rained out?
Oh my goodness! I have photos of that when our guys were setting up, and the mud was like 3 or 4 inches deep.
Yes, I did. Okay, a team of us that were, because I was helping to get all the entertainment for that, right? Okay. There was that tent. And I remember standing near that tent with a photographer looking out at the tarmac because it was up. So everybody who, if you don't remember or if you don't know, the Sedona Community Fair was set up on the like certain parts of the airport, Sedona Airport. Not where the planes were, but it was in a massive amount of tents and booths and all that. And you did all of that for us. And I'm standing there and I'm looking out at the tarmac and I see in front of me and the photographer standing next to me, black clouds. And I was like, wow, what's that? And I swear to you, 2 seconds later, it was crash boom and the rain was coming on the sides. All right. We had to dig the sound man out of the mud. And then I remember when everybody was gone because everyone vacated immediately. And some people were really pissed off, because this was like 1 p.m. It was supposed to go till 4. And we didn't even get to the band that we hired from Flagstaff. I had to give them a check. They didn't even set up. And of course we had to pay them.
Yeah.
That was rough. Being a producer can be tough.
Yeah, that's.
But those tents, what was that like cleaning all that?
Oh, that took a while.
That had to be insane.
Yeah. It's and they're really big pieces. I mean, they're 25 by 40 foot pieces, and so to spray them and scrub them and when you roll them up wet too, mildew happens ridiculously quick.
Really fast.
Yeah, and it's like, we just rolled this up, so that's where the scrubbing and a little bit of chemicals to get the
schlepping,
yeah,
the schlepping back and
through the
forth.
mud.
Right.
Yep.
So, how many trucks do you have?
Oh, we have let's see, I think 12 vehicles.
12. Yeah, because if you're doing 400 events in October,
the tool store has 3 trucks, and then the 8. No, actually 9. 9 would be
outrageous. It's outrageous.
So we have a Zuzu cab overs and 1 Chevy and 1 Ford. Two Fords.
And in the season, we end up renting extra trucks.
Yeah, we rent Penske trucks right off 6th Street.
Fill in.
Yeah, and then those are if we get to 26 footers.
So, oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, so now, Kyrsta, this was your family that was involved.
That's correct.
In all of that.
Yeah.
And so my question is, Phil, when you got recruited into this, you're like, OMG, what am I getting myself into here?
Well, yeah, that's
that's a long question.
That is. So I was a school teacher before this.
Were you?
Yeah,
God bless you.
I was working at Fort Lewis up in Washington, and I had done that for about a decade, and Chris and I got married, and then her parents, like shortly after, like 2 months, even probably like right after our honeymoon, they had offered, like, hey, would you like to come down and run this? And it was like, whoa, I did not expect that at all, And
that's a gift.
Yeah.
And,
like,
a really large gift.
And it was like a big change,
Huge.
And so.
How old were you then?
34.
34.
Yeah.
You just inherited this whole thing.
Well, it was quite an adventure, really.
We celebrated our first year wedding anniversary we got married in Washington State, and then we celebrated our first wedding anniversary here in Arizona.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think we came across the mountain.
Yep.
Like we came in through Jerome. This would have been my first sight of the Verve Valley. Not my first sight, but from that direction, and it was quite a change. It was quite a change.
At that same time is when we came into it, we realized that the business had outgrown what they were able to do in that facility. So we did, at that point, we separated from Verde Valley Rentals, which had been there since 1979, and we opened the new warehouse on Air Park Way in Cottonwood as Verve Events and Tents. Moved all the party equipment over there, left all the tools and construction at the other location. So both of them were able to grow.
Wow.
Which was and at that point we made new websites, and we did all the materials and rebranding and all of the growth. It was a really exciting time.
I can imagine. So I'm going to say it's safe to say you got married in 2008?
Yes.
My math is actually okay. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
My math teacher would be like, good for you, Shondra.
We made it easy to remember. We're one of the 888 couples. August 8th of 08.
Oh, the numbers.
Yes.
I love that. Good numbers. That's success. Yes, prosperity and success. 888. Love that. Okay, so this is amazing. I think that we should probably mention your parents because they're the ones that started all of this. Or did they inherit?
No, absolutely. Ross and Marianne are my folks, and they were Indiana natives, and decided my father at the time was working for Honeywell, and decided that he wanted to get out of the snow and out of the big city, and they researched locations. Actually, he came to Sedona on a business trip, and then they decided they really liked it and looked into businesses that were for sale, found just a fledgling rental store at that point, and decided that was what they were going to move their family. And came.
What year was that?
That was in 1979.
Okay, so there hadn't been a lot of stuff here at that time.
No.
There was the movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe were they thinking that
it
way?
It was tools. It was.
Tools.
I found an old picture of the store, and they had canoes.
Ooh,
not rafts or river. They had
Canoes?
big canoes. They had like homeowners. They had really a gambit of rental items that were just like a big photo of them out front of the store.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then through time, they realized party, and this is not just them, this was the whole rental industry, started renting wedding and party equipment, tables and chairs, handful of tables and chairs. And then as that industry grew, weddings just got bigger and bigger. People started needing linens, and then they needed the tent, and then they needed the dance floor and the sound system. And they were able to just kind of keep up with the industry growing. And that's where we came in and said, my background was doing special event fundraising. So I saw it from the customer side and was thinking, we really need to have the tools and equipment away from the brides. So
that's wonderful. Oh, this is good. This had good written all over it. Really. I mean, it's excellent. So now being a school teacher, let me just think here. How would I say this? I'm sure that you have some last minute people. So would you say something like, planners, please actually do what you are supposed to be doing, which is planning in advance and call you?
It is kind of amazing sometimes when we get a last minute call from,
yeah, right.
I need chairs, for this wedding that's coming up.
Do you ever ask them and when did you know that you needed chairs? Was this 6 months ago, 2 months ago? Or was this yesterday? Because sometimes things are last minute. Mm-hmm. You can only do what you can do.
It is. It's like, right. How are you, a wedding or an event or something isn't like an emergency situation,
right? Have you ever had an emergency where all of a sudden somebody calls and goes, "Oh my God, we don't have someone who showed up"? Or
every year we get the emergency rain calls. That's the biggest one that I think we deal with is people that didn't plan for the weather, and then they are panicking, and we have to panic and try and throw something together. But we really encourage what we call a weather reserve, which is you can order your tent and then cancel it 1 week before, and there's no charges.
That's
we would
awesome.
much rather know about it, but every year it doesn't matter. People don't know about it, and they call panicking.
But see, the thing is sometimes you don't know when the rain is coming.
Right.
That's what it's weird here. Mm-hmm. And so people do panic, obviously.
We wanted to really be prepared. That's why we started to encourage the rain reserves so that we're ready and staffed and we have the equipment and we have all the parts and pieces that we need. And what happens with the last minute people is I have a very big warehouse like you described, and we have a lot of equipment and furniture, but it's not infinite.
No,
it's going to run out.
That's right. Especially in a situation like that.
And on top, I have trucks. I only have so many trucks, and we're only going in so many different directions. And
team members
to do it. Right, exactly. So we're up to 36 employees total.
Wow. It's a big company.
It
and
takes
especially
a lot to do.
for here, it's a big company.
And if I don't say this, they'll get mad, but they are the best crew that we've had.
Okay.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We have an A+ crew coming in into this year, which is really great.
For those of you listening or thinking about doing a destination wedding, I want to mention that your lobby has like different samples, ideas of cutlery. I can't even say it. Forks, knives, and spoons. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, flatware.
Flatware. Thank you. I was trying to be like so formal about cutlery. I can't even say it. Well, you understand what it is. Anyway, they've got the plate. You've got plates out there. You have different kinds of accessories and things for the tables. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we encourage consultations. So we basically have, if there's someone planning an event, they come in and they can actually play with different linen colors and pick which pattern of flatware and which glasses. And we have about 7 different styles of china, different kinds of china they can choose from. So there's a lot of choices to make, and it's really fun.
I know. I was thinking, I just want to go in and do that for no reason at all. Just go
have a
let's
party.
just
Have a party.
Have a party. Yes, I'll take that, and that. Let's put all this together.
And
yeah,
we actually do a lot of Thanksgiving, so people will come in for their Thanksgiving dinners or Christmas dinners, and just do something special for the locals that are having a fun party.
No, that's really cool. Love that. Okay, what is the most wildest, extravagant party that you have? Can you think of one? I mean, was it any kind of a Hollywood thing or a star coming into town or any of that?
I feel like that there's a lot of them. When you're thinking, I have a harder time thinking of extravagance as I think of big. We've had like a 400-person sit-down dinner in one tent.
Wow.
Those are the big ones that really stand out and take a whole lot of work.
That's outrageous. 400 people in a tent.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people.
The thing that comes to my mind would be our first festival back in the, many years ago when Bike MS came to town. And I felt like that was our first tent city that they rented every tent that we had.
And what was this?
It was Bike MS. It was a fundraising event.
Okay.
And they travel, so they were in Sedona. Then they moved down to Fountain Hills, and they kept us for a little bit. But then I was like, it's too far away, and it was like right in the middle of our busy season.
We're going down to Phoenix.
So I had to, regretfully decline. It's a little too far for us to travel.
Yeah.
But that was pretty. I felt like they ordered every heater. They cleared out our warehouse, and it was many years ago. So it was.
Cleared out your warehouse.
Cleared out the warehouse, and it was in February too, which was really.
Gosh!
February or March, yeah.
Wow.
Which, when you're saying that, was probably 35 tents. I think that was one of the.
It was, and I loved it because it was in Conwood.
Oh yes,
so it was
of course.
in our backyard,
right there. How about Run Sedona? Like we've got the marathon in February. Yeah, you'll be doing all of that.
And
amazing.
And then the St. Patty's Parade. Is also
yes. Oh yes, always in that. It seems like.
Actually, I know, when you're thinking wild, do you ever go to Hullabaloo in Flagstaff?
I have been.
That's a fun wild festival.
That's kind of a crazy thing. What about Renaissance fairs? Have you done any of those?
Yeah. Every year in Prescott, we do the Celtic Festival.
Oh.
That's a repeat for probably 20 years. We've been working with people there. Yeah.
Great. I love it.
And
so
another one
impressed.
this February would be the Sedona International Film Festival.
Yes, that's coming
That's
up.
coming up.
Our movie's in it.
Yay!
So excited. High School Detention, the musical. It's going to be at SPAC. I'm going to do a little plug. February 28th, that's a Saturday at 4 p.m. at Sedona Performing Arts Center. No, I mean, I know you've done tents for everything here. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So let's see here. I'm just kind of looking around to see what would be something that you've not done? What would be an event that you have not done? Something, I mean, like think about it for a moment because you've done so many of them. What would be one that maybe, have you ever done a movie set? Have you ever had to use tents for a movie set? Do they do that sort of thing? Talking about movies?
We did do movie. Actually, back in the day, we did Planet of the Apes. That was a movie set.
Planet of the Apes?
Yes. It was actually up by Page. We go all over. We go as far as north as Page. And there was a set where they needed the tents for the crew and the cast.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. So good.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, you have to check it out. Okay, Verve. They are absolutely fantastic. Make sure you say hi to Kyrsta. You go by Chris or Kyrsta?
Kyrsta.
Okay, just checking. Verve Events Tents. Make sure you check that out. And also Verde Valley Rentals if you need some big equipment, like you're building something. I don't know.
Or even smaller equipment.
Smaller equipment.
Like some auto tools or whatever.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
it's there.
Okay, there you go. And you can find them online at...
There's VerdeValleyRentals.com or VerveEventsandTents.com.
Wonderful. Thank you, Phil. Thank you,
you.
Krista, for
Thank
being
you.
here. It's so wonderful to have had you.
That was fun.
It was really fun. Thank you for all those great stories and all the information. All right, everybody, stay with me. We'll be right back.
You've explored the trails, stood in awe of the red rocks. Now, discover how Sedona became Sedona. The Sedona Heritage Museum tells the story of Red Rock country, from ancient cultures to today's vibrant community. It's interactive, family-friendly, and open year-round, indoors and out. Sedona Heritage Museum, preserving and sharing the soul of Red Rock country. Plan your visit at sedonamuseum.org or call 928-282-7038.
Take a deep breath, then let it go. At Sedona's New Day Spa, your escape begins the moment you arrive. Enjoy luxurious massages, rejuvenating facials, and native-inspired body treatments. Every moment is designed to restore balance and renew your spirit. Voted Sedona's Best Day Spa, this is more than self-care. It's your sanctuary. Book your experience today at SedonaNewDaySpa.com or call 928-282-7502.
When your project demands precision, experience, and trust, turn to Sefton Engineering Consultants. From expert civil engineering to construction management, we deliver real-world solutions that stand the test of time. With over 30 years in the business, Luke Sefton's team is committed to getting your project done right, on time, and on budget. Sefton Engineering Consultants. Reliable, experienced, personal. Learn more at SeftonEngineeringConsultants.com. Here's more of Backstage Pass with Shondra, brought to you by Chef Lisa Dahl.
Oh, I love my guests. I always say this every week, but it's just the truth. They're fantastic. Oh, you know what that means? It's time for my shameless Shondra spot. Okay, I know I mentioned this in the events calendar. I'm gonna mention it again. Okay, you have to just give this to me. This is 6 years of hard work. Dev Ross, her wonderful screenplay. It's just gorgeous. And I had the opportunity to be the composer on this wonderful movie musical, High School Detention, the musical. All right. It's a big moment for both of us. Like I said, 6 years of hard work. And here we are going to be in the Sedona International Film Festival. And mark your calendars. You can buy tickets for this Saturday, February 28th at 4 p.m. at the Sedona Performing Arts Center. That's right. You can go to SedonaFilmFestival.com and get single tickets now as of the 16th. So I want to pack that house. We both do. Now, I have another announcement. This is a lot of fun. First of all, I want to mention that on Tuesday, February 24th, kids from around Sedona in all of the different schools here, West Sedona School, Red Rock High School, the kids are coming to see the movie at Sedona Performing Arts Center on the 24th. All right, that's a really big moment for us because this movie was made for tweens, and we're going to have a lot of them. We've got fifth graders coming in from West Sedona School. We've got Sedona Charter School coming in, and of course the high school, middle schoolers, the middle school kids are coming in. So this is a big moment. And one more thing. That same day, our soundtrack album is being released. That's right. We have a soundtrack album of High School Detention, the musical. It's such a thrill to write these songs. And I have mentioned this before. Dev Ross and I have written 6 musicals. This is the 5th. And again, 6 years of hard work, and here it is. We've actually done it. And I want to give a big shout out and thank you to our amazing arranger, Chris Ising, who is in Canada. He took my songs and arranged them, produced them, and they are absolutely flippin' great. Without Chris, I don't know what we would have done. He is absolutely phenomenal at producing and arranging, and he did a great job with these songs. So on February 24th, the album will be released, and you'll be able to find that album on Spotify and iMusic and all of your other favorite streaming channels. So mark it down. February 24th is the album release, and February 28th is the big premiere at 4 p.m. at Sedona Performing Arts Center, right there in the Sedona International Film Festival. We'll see you there. Oh, wow. What a show. What a show. The next time I talk with you, we'll be getting ready, literally, to have that big premiere, and I'm thrilled about that. Oh, exciting. So I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Without them, I could not be doing this podcast, and I want to give my great gratitude and thanks to the Sedona Heritage Museum, Safton Engineering, Cleaner Quicker Car Wash, Sedona New Day Spa, Sedona Ballet, and my presenting sponsor, the Dahl Group, and Chef Lisa Dahl. Thank you guys so much. I just love you all. And of course, my producer and engineer, Ryan Thompson, who always does a fantastic job of putting these shows together and dealing with all the things that happen to put this show together. So thank you, Ryan. And also the owner of KAZM, Chuck Helstein. Thank you, Chuck, for all that you do. So remember, get your VIP pass out. Remember, it's always Saturdays at 10 a.m. and you'll hear some great stories from people here in the Sedona community, people that you know and love, but you just don't know that much about them. That's right. Remember, you can always tune in on Mellow Mountain Radio, 106.5 FM and 780 AM, and also live streaming on mellowmountainradio.com. We shall see you next Saturday on the big premiere day, and maybe I'll see you at the Sedona International Film Festival. See you soon.